August 21st, 1999. Roger Petersen opens up about Don's behavior. On August 21st, 1999, I wrote and faxed a letter to Detectives Lingo and Fernandez in case number 97-069358. Dear Detectives Lingo and Fernandez, I have just returned from Costa Rica and feel that Don is not there, but I did have an interesting conversation with our attorney, Roger Petersen, and then I gave his phone number, his fax number, and his address. Now that he has not seen Don for a couple of years, he was more demonstrative in his opinions about Don on this trip. I think in the past he felt a certain client-attorney privilege and was hesitant to speak his mind for fear Don would come back and sue him. He said it required 10 police officers to remove all of Don's homosexual, drug-trafficking, animal-smuggling friends and prostitutes from the triplex in Rohrmoser that we own. He said that had it not been for his protection of Don's business dealings, that Don would have lost every cent he brought into Costa Rica, because while he was there he surrounded himself with liars and thieves and seemed to have no business sense at all. Not only was I in Costa Rica to find out for myself if Don were in the area, but I was there partly to try and stop the animal smugglers, who are, of course, all Don's friends. Don had even bought an ultralight for them to help with their activities. We can't go public about that yet because there are 120 endangered species that would be pelted out if the smugglers catch wind of it. The Costa Rican government hopes in the next few months to raid their camp and rescue the cats and then prosecute Don's friends. Don is excellent at maintaining the image of an animal lover and successful businessman. Many people think that I did him in to get all his money and to take over the sanctuary. But as time goes on and more information comes out about his true character, I am finding out what kind of person I am really married to, and I think other people will realize who is the real villain. It may be timely for the police to ask Roger Petersen what sort of business savvy Don actually possesses. It might also shed some light on the kind of people with which Don does business here and in the States while keeping up a facade. One thing that needs to be determined is who told... Is that a cow I hear out there? Our neighbor must have brought in a cow. One thing that needs to be determined is who told Judge Alvarez to start the conservatorship, naming Anne McQueen as the conservator. We need to know the exact date it was first petitioned to Judge Alvarez. If it was before August 18, 1997, then there is proof that the scheme was being put into play for Don to disappear. If Don requested that it be started, there is grounds to show that he instigated a fraudulent plot to have me removed from our properties so that he could take over all of our properties, have me put out on the street, and run the business through his secretary as conservator, plus defraud the insurance company, as Anne was the original beneficiary before the conservatorship changed the life insurance policy. Possibly Don did not do it himself, but through his attorney, Sheldon Wind, or Anne's attorney, Leroy Merkel Jr. If it was dated after August 18, 1997, why didn't Judge Alvarez ask if there were family, such as a wife and children, etc., who would be more qualified to manage Don's business rather than an unrelated secretary? This was not handled according to guardianship laws, which are the same for conservatorships. In all of Anne's TV interviews, she mentions that Don told me he wanted a divorce. Don never mentioned that to me, and I thought our marriage was sound. Now that pieces are starting to fall into place, I can see where the possibility exists that if he wants to get rid of me but doesn't want to go through a divorce and have to pay alimony or some sort of divorce settlement. The original conservatorship with Anne in charge did not give me any funds and left everything in her control. Is there a way you can find out if the above theory has any validity? Don giggled and made the following statement to two of our workers, Dad and Kenny, a few days before he disappeared, saying, "This will be the slickest thing I've ever done." but he would not give any more information when pressed to continue with an explanation of what he was planning. For the animals, Carol Lewis. And later I noted, when I said Don never discussed divorcing me, I mean that he never followed up with any such plans to do so, even though he would sometimes say it during one of his rages, because 5 minutes later he'd be right back to happy with our life together.